Different. Hey!
Hi there.
Good evening, Dr. Michael and
Dr. Leonard Valentine.
Cool. Oh my gosh, we got some bright lights happening. Let me turn this off. Wow.
All right. Oh, that's way better.
Oh
that's
my
pretty
gosh,
good.
It's a bit better. Hopefully it's a bit better. You can comment and let us know if it's better or not, because we can't really tell. But you know, we've been trying to do a longer part series and hopefully shorter duration. And we've been talking about brain and body health. And recently we talked about, of course, what was the keys, as far as getting blood sugar down. And then, of course, making sure you sleep. You should be sleeping like 8 hours. And like Dr. Leonard's reading a book all talking about Alzheimer's and reversing the Alzheimer's, which it can be reversed, but not in the most severe state. Understand that. There's got to be some cognitive decline, and those are the people that are going to have the best type of reversals.
But of course, we always believe in prevention.
Absolutely.
That's why I'm so intrigued, because everybody's probably, not everybody, but a lot of us have been affected by somebody in our life who has gone through it. And of course, they don't remember much of it, but the people that have to care for them, it's quite stressful.
Devastating, like his uncle went through it.
So I personally was involved in that.
And then my mother-in-law went through it at a very young age, and oh my gosh, it was pretty devastating to all of us, which is really, really sad. So in this part, what we really want to talk about is what we call intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, some of you have heard of, other people haven't, but intermittent fasting can vary depending on what you're trying to accomplish. So my fasting, and I do this personally every day, I fast from dinner, which might be 7 to about 8 o'clock at night, and I don't eat until the next day at about noon. So I'm fasting around, 14, 15 hours a day. The reason being is because when we fast, our body it's getting rejuvenated. It's going through the whole process of the cells getting healthier. So the body's getting rid of dead, dying cells. And part of that is what we talked about before was mitochondria. So we mentioned that the mitochondria is a powerhouse within the cell. And of course, those areas like your heart, your muscles, those areas that demand more as far as energy expenditure are going to have greater numbers of mitochondria within each cell. And that can be anywhere between 100 to 3,000 mitochondria per cell. So the mitochondria, if they're working, well, they have byproducts. Well, you don't want the byproducts of the mitochondria, the energy that the mitochondria are expending, to just sit there, because that's no good. That's like accumulating waste products. But if we go ahead and we start doing this fasting, now the body's able to get rid of these dead, dying cells. Now, people talk about, well, if I started fasting, well, aren't I going to just go ahead and go into starvation mode, my body's storing more fat? We've heard that, right? But in reality, you're getting and turning your body into a fat-burning machine. And that's what we want to do. We want to go from sugar burning to fat burning. So some of the things we do, what do we test like a lot of times? We'll test it with even patients. We'll test their blood sugar, right? So we'll do that in the office. Dr. Leonard does that. We kind of go, wow, okay. We want to see that blood sugar, the fasting blood sugar, which will be first thing in the morning. We want to see it about anywhere between 70 to 85. Or even in between meals, we want to see in that same range. Not between meals, meaning that we want to do it before a meal or we want to do it 2 hours after a meal. And then there's other testing to really get more specific about it. One is to buy a blood glucose meter, which actually picks up the ketones. It's different than a regular blood glucose meter, which you'd pick up at any pharmacy. This one is measuring ketones specifically, and that would be the Precision Ultra. So that's what we bought. Remember that? We bought that. And so that'll give you the measure of ketones. And then the other thing is, which we just kind of found out about, it's a breathalyzer. So now, when we go through this whole process, because we talked about it earlier, we said, man alive, you ever notice that your breath, huh? Mm-hmm. What did you notice, you know?
When we're fasting from Sunday night until Tuesday morning, you can definitely tell that something's being given off. And yeah, now we're finding out that's acetones, which is a normal byproduct when you are fasting.
And you go, the ketosis. So that is a process that happens, of course. So we're getting into the breathalyzer, which is cheaper than doing the blood ketone sticks, because just like the glucose meter, the sticks are anywhere about 50 cents per stick.
On the blood glucose.
Blood glucose.
Right,
Excuse
the
me.
other one.
The ketone can be about $5 to $7 a strip, or more. I can't remember because I did buy that a little while ago.
Yeah, between $5 and $10.
Yeah, so they're kind of pricey. So with breathalyzer, you just buy this one time, and there is no purchase of strips and all that. So that's kind of exciting to do that. So kind of the things that we notice with the being on the nutritional ketosis, I've been doing, I think, about 10, 12 weeks. You've been doing it
probably
pretty
7
close,
or 8. Yeah.
pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what we taught when we talk to patients, this is not about just losing weight. It's just like, you know, I think I didn't notice any weight loss for about 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, it took me a while before I noticed. I'm doing it because, well, Dr. Mike's doing it, so I'm supporting him in doing it, and I know it's good for you, and I was kind of jealous that he was doing something that's healthy that I wasn't doing. So I had a couple motivations. I know enough about it to know that it's a healthy thing. Some of you guys may think that fasting is extreme. Really, it's good for you. There's a lot of research out there for you. We could always share it with you. But yeah, I mean, my ideal thing, instead of doing this, what is this? Works out to be about 38 hours, we figured, from Sunday night to Tuesday.
About 44. About
44.
40 to
Well, you go a little bit
hours.
longer too than I do. But yeah, I almost feel if I didn't have to work on Tuesdays, I would, because once I get to Tuesday morning, and I've gone that long, because it's that first day that my brain keeps telling me that I need to eat. And once I get through that first 24 hours, I feel like I could just cruise for a number of days. I don't know if you talked about that there is clinics where you can go and they put you through the fast, and they like you to fast for 7 days.
We haven't talked.
Yeah, it's kind of a neat thing. We were sharing with another doctor, and he was talking about he and his daughter went to this clinic up in Northern California, and they pretty much assure you, this is what they say, that come in there, if you can do this program, you're going to walk out. If you had diabetes, you're not going to have diabetes any longer. If you have high blood pressure, when you leave here, you're not going to have high blood pressure anymore. And we also know that some of the docs are talking about, well, we're running on a low battery, so hit low battery
We're going
mode.
to try low battery.
We got just a couple minutes left. That'll force us to not yak so long, right? But anyway, yeah. 38 hours, the last few hours, you almost feel like you could just keep going. And we have heard that it is great if you could do 4 days.
4 days. And that doesn't have to be under supervision.
Now, 4 days is okay. 7 days.
Once we get into 7 days or longer, then we're going to go ahead and refer you up to somewhere else, because then you need to be kind of under supervision of a medical doctor, you know, and have all your fluids checked and things like that. Because anytime you're doing this, you definitely want to supplement with electrolytes, you know, because you want to keep your electrolytes up there, obviously. But just to give you some idea what the different things are, the benefits of intermittent fasting. It's improving mental clarity. You're getting the freedom from cravings, because we all have this sugar cravings. Once we start dropping the sugar, you know, the sugar intake to 0, to minimal, it's amazing how much your cravings go down. You really don't have those cravings. It's also used an anti-cancer strategy. Microbiome changes, which is a gut health, which improves our gut health, because when you go through intermittent fasting, you're actually starving out the good and the bad bacteria when you're fasting. And that's a good thing, because a lot of us have these different bad bacteria, especially if we've been eating traditional foods, like vegetables that are not organic, because those non-organic vegetables are being sprayed with Roundup, which is a major herbicide. And so when you're being exposed to that, you know, your gut health is not very good at all. So that's one of the biggest things. Weight loss without deprivation, greatly improved energy. I know some of the fastest bike riding times that I've done, not that I'm trying to race and beat my time, but it's like I have so much energy that I can just go.
And it makes sense, right?
Yeah,
because our body, is expelling so much energy to digest food. So here, now we're not digesting food, so our body has the ability to use that energy for something else.
Right, exactly. And then, of course, increased insulin sensitivity. We want that insulin sensitivity versus insulin resistance. That's a bad thing, okay? Reducing inflammation and mitochondrial biogenesis, which means there's actually creation of more mitochondria, like we talked about, anywhere between 100 to 3,000 within each cell in your body. And there's 10 trillion cells in your body. So that's phenomenal. So that's a big thing I think we want to talk about tonight.
Yeah, we want to make this a little shorter. Please hit the like button right now, or
share
when you do watch this. And yeah, please share. Yes, of
course. If you like this, we plan on continuing them. And let us know if this was, long enough. Comment on that.
If it's too short, let us know. This is one of our shorter ones because we're running out of battery time. So maybe that's a good thing. It's great coming to you guys live like this. Right. And yes, we'll do this on a regular basis. Just keep tuning in.
And we talked about actually having maybe a coaching program doing this whole nutritional ketosis, which is, I like to call it, which Dr. McCullough calls is it's a metabolic mitochondrial therapy, meaning that MMT, it's all about health. It's not about weight loss. Understand that that's one of the nice byproduct, of that. But it's not about weight loss. I'm not doing it for weight loss. I'm doing it for health. Dr. Leonard's doing it for health. And that's what it's all about, is being healthy, especially as we go through the aging process. Who in the heck wants to not only look old, but feel old? So with that, anything else to say? We appreciate you watching. We thank you for all the years that we've been practiced here, so we're very grateful for this.
Yes. And we'll sign off for now. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks.